Something interesting. I think the deadline to declare for the NFL draft is the 18th. Does that sound right?
Someone texted earlier that it was Monday, so that would be Monday's the 16th, though.
Okay, yes, it's the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who hasn't declared? C.J. Stroud.
Quarterback from Ohio State?
Yep. He is not declared.
Yeah, that's correct.
And there's a rumor going around that he is looking at a massive NIL deal to stay.
Or that Ohio State is going to throw one at him to entice him, even though the university can't officially do it.
But that one will be thrown
Yes.
at C.J. Stroud, significant enough to get him to consider staying. Now, what is significant enough, right? Significant enough.
Well, what's your first contract in the NFL as a top 10 pick?
It's huge. I don't think Ohio State and the boosters can match what his first contract would be, but can they throw something out there that makes him go, you know what? I like my life here. I'm enjoying college football. NFL will always be there. And, you know, because right now, I don't think there's any question that an effort to lure back Blake Corum and Trevor Keegan, and now maybe Zach Zinner with the emoji, it's the same thing. It would stand to reason the same thing's going on with C.J. Stroud down at Ohio State. It would just be that the difference between that guy is that guy's top 10 / top 5 / top 2, 3 pick in the draft. And I have to say, if I take off any glasses representing the state of Michigan and, you know, the Michigan Wolverines, if I take those off, I got to tell you, I like that for college football.
Fair enough. I like that for college football, and this would be Ohio State doing what's best for Ohio State. But what it's not doing is Ohio State looking out for the best interest of C.J. Stroud.
Well, this is where I take issue. I don't know that I agree with that. They are not looking out.
Let me continue then.
Okay, go ahead.
C.J. Stroud is likely to be the second quarterback taken, maybe the third quarterback taken on the outside chance, okay? Top 10 pick, without a doubt. That kind of money, the guaranteed contract you get is worth, what, $25 million, something like that at least? I mean, you'd have to look it up, but it's a ton of money. If Ohio State were to say pull together $5 million for him to come back for the 1 year, now what happens? He's risking injury to come back for the year, and then he comes out in the draft next year. And now he's got to compete with Caleb Williams. He's got to compete with was it Moye, the quarterback from North Carolina. He's got to compete with a lot of quarterbacks. Penix is going to come back for another year, and there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks come out in next year's draft that people are going to be interested in as well. He may start to slip again. So his earning potential would have dropped, and he's risking injury. That's not looking out for the best interest in C.J. Stroud. Any coach out there, like when this goes through with, I'll just use Michigan State as an example with Tom Izzo. When players are considering going to the draft, Izzo says, okay, we're going to talk it over. I'm going to get in touch with some of my NBA friends, and we're going to see where they would envision you going in the draft. And if it makes sense, I will fully endorse it. You know, if it's going to be a first-round pick for you, I'm going to fully endorse it. And then he gives them the full blessing of the whole bit. How do you not give your full blessing to a kid that's going to be a top 10 pick, other than being selfish and saying, we want you back because we want to win a national championship, which I understand, but at the same time, you're supposed to look out for the best interest.
So there's two things there. One is, just because you offer him an NIL deal doesn't mean you don't give him a full blessing to leave. You just say, hey, look, if you decide you want to stay, here's an option. Two is, I don't necessarily think that everybody is motivated by the same things. If the only motivation for C.J. Stroud is to maximize his earnings potential as quickly as possible, if that's his primary motivation, then not only he wouldn't stay.
Well, there might be a huge motivation for him to come back and beat that team up north. There might be huge motivation for that.
I just looked it up. He is 0-2 against Michigan, and that might be something that motivates him. It might matter to him.
It might.
And so when you say looking out for his best interest, looking out for his best financial interest, for his maximum earnings potential as quickly as possible, no, it's not. But you can still say, hey, we fully endorse you going. We encourage you to go for financial reasons.
But if you
if you decide to stay,
here's this nice pile of cash.
Here is a NIL deal that will make you pretty damn wealthy in the short term with still great earnings potential moving forward. But I go back to the same thing, and I used to believe differently, but of course he can make his decision for whatever reason he wants, and his motivations might be completely different and may want to stay. I'm not, saying I want him to stay necessarily, because Ohio State has to break in a new quarterback. The belief is that those things sometimes don't go well. And even no matter how good you are as a recruit, you just never know.
Well, this rumor's out there. There's another rumor about one of his teammates. Then I would imagine that would affect his decision, too.
Another rumor about Marvin Harrison Jr. getting recruited off the Ohio State roster.
Which, of course, is tampering, which would never happen in college football. Certainly not for the wide receiver, and certainly not to a school out west.